My interview with Ryan McCaffrey, the host of the largest non-official Tesla podcast, is coming up next.
Taking over the world, electrifying the world, E4 Electric!
Welcome to E4 Electric, your number one source of unbiased electric car news. If this is your first time here, that's perfectly fine. You can just click on that subscribe button down there. It's free, and that way you won't miss anything moving forward. Let me give a quick shout out to one of my new Patreons, Christopher Kinsey. Thank you so much for joining my Patreon community. That's where you can watch me live. That's really the only place where you can watch me live. But most importantly, thank you so much for supporting my independent and unbiased channel. And here, patreon.com/E4Electric is where you can join my community. It's also in the description of this video. All right, so Ryan McCaffrey is pretty much the biggest podcaster, I think, not just for Tesla fans, but electric car fans. He's been doing it for a very long time. But what he hasn't been doing for a very long time is driving a Tesla. Last time I talked to him was in San Francisco. I think it was a few months ago. It was right before he was getting his beautiful Tesla Model 3. I've seen it in person. It's freaking gorgeous. It's red with a white, and it's really awesome. I've also seen him at the racetrack, which was pretty cool. We just didn't have time to catch up, and I kind of wanted to have him have fun and figure things out with his car. And I finally caught up with him at the My Tesla Adventure, which is like a North American official Tesla club. Everybody drove from the factory to Santa Cruz. That was pretty cool. I have another interview with the creator of that club and also creator of the sponsor. It's a great time to mention the sponsor with this channel, sponsored by StarmanGifts.com, the home of the adventures of Starman. And Eli is one of the people who, he's definitely the founder and one of the people involved in this amazing project. There is a discount code in the description of this video. Go ahead and grab it and save yourselves a few bucks on that and many other cool stuff that they sell over there. But okay, so back to Ryan. And by the way, this is where I'm interviewing him at this big room that the club had to basically get from the restaurant because we were way too big to just get tables. There was, I think, 30 cars. Even though it was raining, it was a really, really amazing time. I really, really enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty cool. So, but my interview with Ryan was pretty much like, hey, what do you think now about your car? What do you enjoy? What do you don't enjoy? And I was kind of surprised about his feedback. He was really passionate about some really things that he liked and some of the things that he didn't really like. So without further ado, here's my interview with Ryan McCaffrey.
All right, man. Last time we talked, it was before you got your car. Now you got it. You've been driving it. I actually seen it myself. What are your thoughts?
It's a real car. It's a real thing. And, people that ask me, because people in my life know that I waited a long time for this car. And I'm sure a lot of Model 3 owners can relate to that. And certainly a number of the early adopter Model S owners, too. And it's the way I like to put it is as such. The three best things I've ever spent money on in my life are, number one, our home, which if you're familiar with the Bay Area, getting a home is no easy thing. That's a big, big deal. Forever grateful for that. Number two, LASIK eye surgery. If you qualify and it will change your life. LASIK is the best. And number three is my Tesla Model 3. It is such a great thing. It's endlessly fun. It costs so little to operate. I can drive it like a just supercar, even though it's only a supercar in a straight line, but it gets the equivalent of 90 to 100 miles per gallon. It's joy on tap. Just slam that accelerator and you can't help but smile. And it's the safest car in the world to take my wife and daughter around in. So it is, and it gets better all the time with the over-the-air software updates. So it has been, sometimes, anticipation is better than actually getting the thing. But no, for me, the Model 3 has absolutely lived up to the 2.5 years of anticipation that went into it.
Was there something that you did not even expect, the experiences maybe, or a thing or a feature that the car had and that came with it, that you really didn't think about it before? Is there one thing it was like, whoa, I didn't even know that was awesome?
It's a good question because I was so far down the rabbit hole that I knew everything about the car before taking delivery. But I guess just the community. I knew it was a great community. I'd seen that from doing my weekly podcast, which I did long before I actually took delivery of my car. But, I've made it a point where, in San Francisco, in the Bay Area, Teslas are everywhere, and I don't say that flippantly, like it's a good thing, but they are common enough where they're a fairly normal thing. But I still make a point whenever I get a good opportunity, I wave at other Model 3 owners, and I would say roughly half the time, maybe 1 out of 3 times, they'll wave back, and it's just like, who else does? Nobody else does that. No other car maybe they do. I guess I don't know. Maybe Corvette owners and Lamborghini owners, when they on the off chance they run into each other, do that. But it's great. It's just like when I wave at another Model 3 owner, just like, hey, I see you, you see me. We've got this shared common thing, and they wave back. It genuinely makes my day better. It's like the simplest little human gesture, and it's great.
All right, now you've owned it for about what, half a year now?
6 months.
But obviously the great experiences always come with some trouble, and I know you're already having some trouble here. Tell us how are you handling it, and is this something that may be cutting into your fun and ownership experience?
A little bit. I mean, it's mostly bad luck. I've taken 3 nails in tires. That's not Tesla's fault. That's the rampant construction around San Francisco's fault.
Let's blame Obama, right?
I don't think so, but no, I say.
I've heard people do that a lot around here. So
3 nails. I've had 2 bits of damage to my paint protection film, which thankfully the film did its job when I got it to the detailer and took it off and put new film on. There was no paint damage underneath, but hey, it's still an expense and a hassle. But hey, okay, so there was that, and then drove it to Arizona to visit my parents over the holidays, and took a rock to the windshield at high speed, and so that's the one I'm still trying to deal with. Tesla doesn't do glass themselves anymore; they outsource it to the glass-specific places. And as of this recording, I decided I need to find this windshield because I can't count on the glass guys to ever do anything. So I made several calls with Tesla, found where there is a windshield for me at a service center. Now I can't get the darn glass guys to return my calls to go get the darn windshield and come put it on my car. So that is a thing that would not happen with most, like 99% of other cars on the road. It would just be dial it up, get your new windshield, and you're on your way, and there's minimal inconvenience. So, those are the growing pains that Tesla's going through. And yeah, I went in with eyes wide open on that. I do have a tolerance for that, but that tolerance has a limit. So these are the kind of things that I hope get better and quickly. Elon talked on the Q4 earnings call about his number one priority for 2019 being service and getting that improved. So in 1 year from now, hopefully things like that won't be happening anymore.
As a matter of fact, the reason he talked about it is crowdsourced questions. The number one was about the services. Essentially, a lot of influencers have been starting to talk about it. If you would give them like one recommendation from you, where would you start? Where would you start fixing the service? What do you think is the most important thing?
I don't know. I mean, that's out of my pay grade. But Elon mentioned on that earnings call that they weren't keeping parts at the service centers.
You noticed that?
The cars would come in, and then they would order parts from their parts distribution center. How did that ever make sense? How is that ever a sane and rational thing to do from one of the smartest men in the world, Elon Musk? So, duh. So that's a good start is to keep a stash of parts at the service centers. So hopefully that alone will make a difference with shortening service center times and wait times, and they got to work on the body shop situation. That's been a thing they've been addressing. So efficiency is good. Elon is all about maximizing efficiency, but sometimes just brute force is the best approach to a problem. And again, I'm not smart enough to know whether it is, but it sure seems like just more service centers, more employees at service centers, more parts at service centers. Just throw more at the problem, and that should hopefully go a long way towards fixing it.
Before I let you go, now that you have your car, right, now you're kind of looking at it as a spectator on what's going on with the brand and all the exciting things. Is there something in particular you're looking forward to? There are quite a few things that they're in works right now. Is there one thing that you're looking forward to that's going to happen this or next year from the brand? Well,
Elon keeps talking up the pickup truck, saying it's it's weird. It's totally unique. It's like Blade Runner-esque. So I want to see what in the world he has convinced Franz to build for him with that pickup truck. And, you know, outside of that, certainly curious to see what the Model Y looks like. It seems like it probably won't have Falcon wing doors. So what will it look like? And hey, I mean, I want to see a roadster for real. What does this thing look like, and what can it do out on the road?
Excellent questions. I'm looking forward to it myself. I'm looking forward to talking to you yet in another half a year and see what your experience is like then. And I think we'll know quite a few answers to these questions by then. So to be continued.
Always a pleasure, Alex.
Absolutely. You as well.
All right, well that's that. Very interesting. I gotta tell you, I was very surprised by some of the answers. I'm looking forward to catching up with him again, maybe in another few months to see how things going with him. Of course, if you want to check out his podcast, you can basically find him anywhere on Apple and many other ways. You can even find it in your Tesla if you just click on podcast and search for Ride the Lightning with Ryan McCaffrey. I definitely recommend. It's a weekly podcast and you can enjoy it. There are quite a few interesting things he talks about on a weekly basis. So definitely check it out. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.